Thaidayu family, and welcome to Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly family on your own terms. We really want to thank everyone that supports us on Patreon. We appreciate, love you so much. And everyone who sends us love donations through PayPal, please definitely consider supporting or sponsoring the show through these platforms. And yeah, thank you so much for all the love, the appreciation, the appreciate loving, all the information you sent me. There's several people who had contacted me about the Baobab trees that Kenya was exporting to Georgia. You know, at first I even thought it was Georgia, the state in the divided state. So I was like, here they go again. But it's actually the teeny tiny country, Georgia, where they were going to be taking our plants. And, you know, in case you haven't seen this story, I mean, seriously, this shows you that, first of all, we're not in control of our country. And secondly, people aren't even mentally there. How do you uproot a tree? And by the way, a baobab tree was actually the shrine of our ancestors. A lot of our ancestors used trees as shrines, and especially the baobab tree. How much are you paid to do that, to ship it to another country? And so, you know, the story, you know, actually, this became such big news, so that even the government had to get involved. And basically, you know, the Kenyan president was the first to mention it. And he, you know, they moved to block the uprooting and transportation of 8 baobab trees to Georgia, the country, not the state, after the government said that the license to uproot them was issued irregularly. And, you know, they talked about how documents so basically what happened is that the trees were uprooted by who, God knows who, irregularly. And then the people were like, yo, you can't uproot 200, 300-year-old trees without the proper licensing. So then now they got the licensing irregularly. Of course, we all know how Kenya and Africa operates. You pay a little something here, you can get any document, even a birth certificate, even a new passport from another country. Like, that's how things run here if you have the money. So they were able to get a license irregularly. But the only reason we even found this out is someone took a picture of it and tweeted. And then it went on to, you know, I think someone recorded a video. And they're like, we're even exporting our trees now. Like, we've stooped to the level where we're exporting our trees. And so a petition was launched. I don't know how many people it's reached. You can see it here. Definitely, I'll leave the link below if you'd like to sign the petition. And this is when now the government moved into action. But what was so disappointing is the minister said the trees that had already been uprooted would be held, I think all the 8 trees, and they were being taken by the to a place called Shekveteli Dendrological Park, which was set up by the founder of Georgia's ruling party and former Prime Minister, Bidzina Ivanishvili. People we don't even know. But you see, family, when I go here, it's like people have the land, but it's like people are stuck in a mental prison where all they're thinking about is, I don't have money, I don't have this, but they have the land, they have the resources, they have the seeds, they could grow food. But it's like people aren't even able to think like that. And then for some nations, especially the ones I've seen in the coastal regions, they were not farmers. That was not their heritage as a nation. They were fishermen and other things. So now they've been pushed away from the oceans because that's prime land and it's been bought by Mzungus or they sold it to whoever. And they've moved inland and now they're literally in poverty. Like, family, we went to a remote area where we met one of our brothers from the Agikuyu Nation. And, you know, and it was market day and stuff like that. Deep, deep, deep in the interior. Like, literally, you have to leave your car at some point and just go on like a motorbike, which we call ndudhis or bodabodas, to take you to now this village that we'd gone to visit. And we found the one car that was there was this guy who travels an hour and a half every Friday to bring them vegetables. And he makes thousands of dollars. Like, he lives on that now. He even quit his managerial post in Nairobi to make this a lifestyle. And you see, we'll go there and we'll be like, oh my God, the land is so fertile. Why aren't these guys growing their own tomatoes and their own onions and their own cabbage? Because that was never their nation. We're an agriculturalist people. The Agekuyos, we've always grown food from the soil. We always had like a surplus of food until colonialism came. So it's like people have been taken out of their natural habitat, and then how are you going to survive? Until now, they have to do feeding programs. They have to do programs to bring you all kinds of things. Governments have to create towns for you because you're literally not able to think of yourself of how to plant your own food. That's the level we've reached, family. So there's no surprise when they say they're even selling our trees now. You know what a curse that is? And it's not like these things aren't only happening in Kenya, all over Africa. Our people have sold things that shouldn't be sold. Things that shouldn't even have a price. Things that should be priceless. How do you uproot a tree that has been there for 200-300 years, that your spirit, that your ancestors dwell in, to go support some kind of conservation research project in a part of the world you've never even heard of for 2 years? And then what happens to those trees? And how do you know that's what they're going to do to them? And the people of these communities know that those are the shrines of their ancestors. That's where the spirit of their ancestors dwell. What an abomination. And then we wonder why Kenya has no rain, why East Africa is suffering from drought, why Africans are unable to feed each other. The physical situation represents a spiritual problem. We're out of our minds, family. The physical predicament that Africa is going through represents a spiritual disease, a spiritual imbalance that cannot be fixed. Because you see now, this is what actually disappointed me even more. So after this whole thing, oh yeah, the government stopped it and has blocked it. You know what they said? The minister said the trees that had already been uprooted would be held until an agreement was properly regularized, including a benefit sharing formula. So it's already like, listen, okay, we don't know who you paid on the local level, but we're going to come up with a system where now you pay the government, and since the trees are already uprooted, you can take them anyway. There's nothing about these trees being replanted in one of the national parks here, in one of the public areas here. No, they're not even thinking of benefit sharing. And added such activities could go ahead if they complied with the Convention on Biodiversity, blah, 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 blah. And the only reason this happened is because someone took a photograph of it. Otherwise, these trees would have gone. Who knows what else has left? Who knows however many trees have already gone? Then they're not talking about. That's why when people say Africa is a continent of banana republics, family, there is no nation that is currently ruling anything. Okay, maybe Ethiopia, because seriously, they've been doing some serious things, although you see how they've been hit by war, engineered weather wars. All you need to look at is how we can't defend ourselves. And the reason we can't defend ourselves physically is because we have no power spiritually. Many are in a religious psychosis. Many don't even know what the truth is. And so until we start from the spiritual, nothing is going to change physically. Even now, if you go into explain to that community and try to explain how this was a terrible abomination on the spirit of their ancestors, they won't get you. They'll think you're mad. They'll be like us, we were starving, and this Mzungu came and offered us 1,000,000 shillings, which is like $10,000, or however much. I bet it wasn't even that much. Or even the elder in our community is the one who told us to do this project, so each of us could get something for our families for Christmas. I mean, so the thinking is so low, because this shows you how low our vibration is. That ancient trees can be uprooted and shipped somewhere. And the only reason we find out because of a tweet or a TikTok, and then the conscious community comes in and stops it. There is a very deep spiritual war going on right now, family. And it is for the soul of Africa. Actually, it's for the soul of the world, but what we're concerned with now is the soul of the mother, the motherland. Enough of us have connected to our ancestors where things are going to shift. Change is coming. It can either come peacefully or it can come with a lot of chaos. We're the ones who decide. It will come peacefully if a lot of us start to cry out and recognize this is a spiritual problem we're facing. Because on all fronts, nothing is for us. Everything is against us. If we look at our politics, our leaders are betraying us. If we look at health, our medicine, natural medicines which used to heal us have been demonized, they've been poisoned, and now literally, you know what's happening with that story. If we look at food, there was even issues that we couldn't get, Africa couldn't import grain from Ukraine because of the war. I mean, when did we start getting food from other countries? When other countries are getting food from us, you see, it's just, it doesn't even make sense. And it's not supposed to because it's not real. We're out of reality. We're in an illusion and it's killing our people softly, family. Because it's a mental death that's happening. And when we are trying to awaken the people, it's to try and resurrect their spirit before it's too late. Because when our people reach the level of selling their trees, people are even selling their children, let alone trees, family. There's poor families who will be like, okay, let's just allow this one to be taken by whoever so that it can feed the rest of these. People are making some out-of-mind decisions because they are out of their minds. And so the most important thing right now is not at building political parties, creating continental parties. It's having a spiritual movement, anchoring in a new vibration, which will bring in new narratives, new thoughts for our people, which will bring in a new library for our people to access, new information, because all our people have to access is the Babylon reality, which has no place for the African, which is why our people are in this situation where they can't feed themselves, we can't employ everybody, the youth are idle. It's just not working for us. In a nation where 75% of the youth are not employed, shows you that that system is not working for our people. And it's not about creating employment opportunities, it's about changing the system so that everyone works, so that it works for our people. That's a clear sign. And that's why I say it's so obvious physically, and whatever way you look at it, we're being screwed. And if you try and fix it, you'll go mad if you look at it physically and think the solution is physical. The solution is spiritual, and it starts with you. Healing yourself, restoring your mind, looking at reality, knowing the truth. Stop living clockwise, which is not even the way that the world used to move. The world used to move in the opposite direction, the one you've been seeing, the direction you've been seeing all these goats and everything moving in around the world. Everything is upside down and back to front. Put yourself back upside. Put yourself back on the right side. Put your head back in order. And already you'll have done the greatest service you could to Mama Africa, the world, the cosmic realm, our ancestors. That's all they require of us. Stop accepting things and thinking it's okay, it's normal. This is not normal. And if it was the ancient ones, they'd now be looking for spiritual solutions. Because this is what's coming down the pipe. What we're living is what's coming from the spiritual realm. So obviously we're connected to the wrong spiritual realm if you look at everything that's going wrong in Mama Africa. This is slavery. This is not us creating this. Because why would you create death, despair, and destruction for yourself? Why would you desecrate your own country? Why would you sell your trees, your minerals, your gold for nothing? Why would we exist in this system if it wasn't by force? Tuko pamoja.